I'm just making this video quickly to talk about the, Backrooms movie. It wasn't even really a criticism, I was just shitting on the movie for no reason, and I see that now, by those 2 comments I got. I'm not really gonna say the names, since they're probably gonna be the only comments I get on that video. It was, it was 1 a.m., I was annoyed, I was talking shit about a movie which I probably couldn't understand very good. I've watched a lot of backroom stuff, and now I really do understand what my main criticisms were, so this video is obviously going to be very shorter, and I just wanted to talk about it. So, I kept just saying that nothing went on, and from one comment I got, it said I needed to actually figure that out, and looking back on it, I was watching the movie, and this video is also gonna have spoilers too, but, I was watching the movie, and I sort of got the gist of it. Like, you see Clark, I think that was his name, I forgot. Yeah, Clark, yeah, it's Clark. He's not the best guy, and he is at his therapist, just talking about it. I mean, that's what you do if you're not a good person, or just not happy with your life, or you just want to feel better, or just be a better person, you talk to your therapist. That's what you do. So he starts losing, he loses it a little, and not in a, bad, well, in a sort of bad way. He loses his temper. And you listen to this tape talking about, or, it might have been a tape, but, it talks about, I think it was the thing talking about how life is a loop, or you build walls around your mind to, keep people out. And after Clark discovers the backrooms, I was actually very interested in it at that point. Like, seeing him discover it, and then, in my opinion, that scene dragged on just a little. Could have been a little bit shorter, or maybe had him explore a little bit more. And this is where the first missed opportunity comes in my opinion, where you see him, open this bag, and in it, he finds an async employee's key card and a bunch of tapes and floppy disks. Now, I don't know why. He might have shown the card to his therapist, but I know he takes that. The other thing, I don't know why. He had a VHS player, TV box set, if I remember correctly, right next to his bed in the store. So I don't know why he didn't take those tapes in and watch them, or give those tapes to his therapist, which could have led to him and his therapist exploring, originally. Or it could have maybe led to the therapist Mary, Clark, Kat, and I forget her boyfriend's name, but all 4 of them going together. And that means they might have had the extra manpower to pull up Kat's boyfriend before he gets killed from what is assumed to be Captain or Pirate Clark. That's just my way. They could have survived that, and needed to all face traumas. I don't know. It was talking about the guy being high in that one joke scene. I think it was a joke. Maybe, I don't know, talk about that, give him some story about his drug use, I don't know. Don't know what they could have done for Kat. We obviously know what they could have done for Mary and Clark, because that's what they sort of did. There were a few more scenes that I felt were, a bit missed opportunities. When you see Clark, I believe, yeah, so after everyone gets, dragged down, I thought it would be a lot cooler if, or not cooler, but more interesting, if we saw, no, yeah, if we saw Clark still take the camera, but we also got shots of Kat running around. So, we'll see Clark running around from the found footage POV, and then it would cut to a third-person shot of maybe Cat um, running from the monster, I think. Um, a few other things I thought would be cool, showing how Cat died, because we only saw, like, 2 deaths in the entire movie. And I know, it's not supposed to be an overly gory movie, but even the FNAF movie had a lot more deaths than that. And the FNAF movie, I don't remember if it was rated lower or higher than the Backrooms movie, but yeah. And I know that Kane only really pays attention or cares about level 0, but I really wish he included some other levels, like having a little reference to the pool rooms, like when he ran through that pool area, is cool and all, but I would really love to see him show the pool rooms. Or show, I think it was called like the Manila rooms or something. Let me try to search up, backrooms level 0 sub-levels. I think, yep, I just accidentally. Alright, sub-levels, Jesus. That is so many. Alright, I would not blame him for not including all of these, because Jesus Christ. What is 0.0? The Rainbow Tutorial. What are these? I'm trying to find that one called, like, the Manila Rooms or something, I think it was, where it was, like, a really, like, an old, like, that wallpaper you'd see if you go to, like, a grandma's house. Like, that really nostalgic, paper that you'd see, like, you go to your grandma's house for, like, a sleepover as a really young kid, you could barely remember anything, but, like, you remember seeing that wallpaper, or seeing that certain thing, which would play off of the still life concept very well. And, I know I'm complaining about the parts they didn't include, so I'm gonna highlight some stuff they did really well, because I'm not gonna lie, I was bitching like an absolute fucking idiot when I first started that one video. So, the set design, amazing. That actually brings me to something. When I said nothing happened, that's also slightly what I meant. Because we didn't see only, like, 5 sets. I'm using that as hyperbole. But, like, the first area of the backrooms that Clark explores is most of the backrooms you'll see for the entire movie. And you don't really get a sense of how it connects to the other, like, not levels, the other areas. Because there's only maybe 1 or 2 doors that, like, branch off. And sure, those could lead to a massive maze, because, I mean, that is what the backrooms is. But it would be nice to, like, see some, just other areas that they haven't explored. Like, that one, part at the end of the movie when they're, like, starting the credits, and you see the reference to the end library. That was really good. That made me, like, jump in my seat a little bit. I'm not even gonna lie, that was a really good part of the movie. Seeing Pirate Clark kill normal Clark, that made me feel very unsatisfied, especially because Clark he was fully contemplating and just fine with staying in the back rooms. So I don't know why Pirate Clark would kill him, especially when he picked him up and gave him, like, a hug and then just bit him for no reason. I really don't understand that. I also didn't really get the subplot with Mary's mom. I know that her mom was very mentally unstable, kind of like going cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs. And her mom gets, like, put in a psych ward, I think it was, which is why Mary has, for what I heard, it was called, like, a savior complex. I don't fully understand that term. I'm not a dictionary kind of guy, I'm not a book smart kind of guy, but, from what I heard, that's what it was, and that's why she wanted to save everyone, I think. And I'm trying to think, because I'm having a hard time remembering a lot of the movie, because a lot of it just kind of blended together for me. I wish we could have seen more entities. Like, I know that, saying the bacteria is stupid because, like, oh, everyone uses the bacteria, but Kane made the bacteria, or the life form, or whatever he calls it, I don't know. I feel like having just a little bit more variety in entities would be cool. like when um Clark captures Mary and has her like do the role play thing, which I find a little bit odd. I don't get why he did that. I don't know why Clark went insane. Um Having like maybe a bacteria, or I don't know, you could have said that Clark had like a dog in the house that he really misses, and you could have had a hound entity be like a different version of the family dog, which would also call back to the saying, describe a dog to a person who's never seen a dog before and then have them draw it. They're bound to get some things right, but the devil's in the details, if I remember the quote right. That would have been a very cool thing. Or you could have had async workers be the subplot of the movie instead of Mary's mom, because in my opinion there was not a lot of dialogue to go off of in the movie that really gave you anything. It made me feel like one of those kind of black and white movies. But what I would see would be like I could see the first plot be Clark and Mary exploring the back rooms and trying to keep the two employees safe while Clark is slowly going a little bit insane, and everyone else is twisted view of him is the reason that Pirate Clark exists, because Clark is going actively insane. So they're like, he's not okay, which means boom, there is a version of him that is not okay and is a monster. I just really wish the still lifes were elaborated on more. And if I could talk a bit more about this, I feel like having the async workers, it would be an amazing thing, because there's that one scene which happened before anything went wrong where Clark looks at the security camera and he sees and then we cut to an async like scientist watching him. That would be a really cool subplot of like the async workers trying to get them out of the backrooms but being like interfered with it by the backrooms itself, like it's alive. Or having the async workers trying to like protect them from entities while not revealing themselves as kind of like a guardian angel kind of thing, and trying to like guide them in the right direction to just get out. Or async taking a secondary antagonist kind of role and being like they're trying to like capture them and I don't know, interrogate them or something. If I could give any suggestions for the sequel, if there is ever a sequel, I'd say, which it's never gonna happen. I'm not saying the sequel isn't what my suggestion never would. Please add more levels and possibly more endies, because if it mainly revolves around the still life, it's a little boring in my opinion. But then again, that is just my opinion, and some people might really love the concept of the still lifes. Like, I know my mom loved them, like, she loved the concept. She was just very mad that there was almost no elaboration on them. She felt like there were a lot of missed concepts. There's also stuff that my mom wanted, which she wanted to see more levels too. She also wanted to see those slides. In my opinion, I would never really want to see those slides. Those are mostly like the content farm kind of slop things that people do, the weird YouTube shorts. Like that weird, just the weird, what if you did this in the backroom shorts with the like looping weird Blender animations. Or my dad just didn't think that Pirate Clark was scary at all, which I agree with him. I wouldn't be it did not scare me. The scariest scene in the movie for me was when it's the Mary flashback scene when the house gets destroyed. And I know that the entire thing is to say, like, hey, this is where she got her little cinder block from. Like, she's coming full circle using her, like, trauma to beat someone else's and, like, overcome her fears and stuff like that. But in my opinion, I feel like it could have been condensed down into the start of the movie, where Mary uses her own situation and trauma with her mother to relate to Clark, which could have turned out for a more interesting story where they're both trying to overcome their trauma together, and they're facing the pirate Clark monster, and they're also facing a still life of Mary's mother, which is also very sentient. But in my mind, that one should actually speak and act like sort of insane, like a zombie from The Last of Us, sort of. And nothing for really the two kids. I just feel like they either shouldn't have really been. No, they should have been included. They're the only reason there were any like good kills. But um, yeah, I didn't very much get why Clark went insane. I did like a lot of the movie's concepts and scenes and set pieces. I just my problem was with how they were executed and how they could have been done so much better. I just feel like it could have been a lot better if there were more references to the actual backrooms, like that one reference at the end of the movie to the end library. That was fucking sick, especially with Kane's twist on it. You saw how Kane put a twist on an already existing part of the backrooms and made it sick as hell, like the freaking pit in the end. That was really cool. Imagine Mary and Clark are escaping for their lives with the two kids from their own like baggage, and then they get to the library and they're like, "We made it to the end." And then they try to open a door and it's like a brick wall exit, and they realize it wasn't the end, and then they need to turn and actually like face their trauma, like maybe using some makeshift weapons out of some rulers or something they found in the library drawer, like using chairs and just straight throwing hands with the entities, which would have been a cool concept. And going into something which makes me sound a little bit hypocritical, how I didn't like the slide idea that my mom was talking about because of YouTube Kids, having like the party goers or party poopers, it would have been a very stupid idea, and I honestly would hate it if it was in the movie, but I'd also love it because that means there's already a canon backroom storyline, like that Fun War thing that was, I believe, canon to the backrooms. And it would have been really, really cool if like I was able to see them expanding on it, having, I think it was, the name is the MEG, is like the explorer group that lives in the backrooms. Like maybe the MEG or whatever it's called, I really don't know and I don't want to Google it right now, is like a group of wanderers who managed to steal some stuff from an async guy, which also could be the reason which in the intro the guy died because no one could hear him on the radio because some of the MEG dudes took the parts for the radio, which could have been a cool concept, having two rival factions in the backrooms kind of fighting their own war with a few innocent people caught in between. Um Also, if we ever went down that route, there could have been a very good ending for Clark where he realizes all he's done wrong. Not get back with his wife. He was an abusive piece of shit from what I remember. But what I think is, Clark could have maybe actually started, like, caring about the store a lot more, taking a lot more responsibility, stopping drinking, actually improving his life and living a happier life. And when you see him start to improve his life, you see the seal in the back rooms, like in the basement, fade away from the store. Like he got, because the back rooms is psychological. It could have been him overcoming his problems and coming out a better person for it, like he was trying to do with the therapist. Or it could have also been a thing where he doesn't get better and he still dies for it, but he dies in a way to where he tries to defend everyone else because he still grows as a person slightly. Because having Clark, like, I don't know if he killed Cat or if Pirate Clark killed Cat, but I still very much hate that because first off, we didn't see it, so we have no idea any of the stuff that happens. How did Pirate Clark even manage that when Pirate Clark had Clark cornered? Um, Damn. Um, yeah, like those would have been some cool concepts I would have liked to see. And I just, yeah, I really don't get why Clark went insane. That's one of my least favorite things about the movie, because he didn't really have any reason to. He was doing perfectly fine. Like, he just got a little bit spooked by, the fucking guy dying. And then, next scene we find him in, he's in La La Land huffing paint. Like, literally huffing paint, drawing on the walls. It's fucking, like, biblical, whatever it's called, I think, scriptures? No, that's writing, if I remember. Like, banners? I don't know, on the walls. Um, like, stuff like that. I just didn't really get that. Like, he was getting loopy. He was going in La La Land. I was a bit confused by that. I just felt like that could have been done a little bit better too. Um, if I had any like suggestions for the movie that could have been changed before the movie came out, I feel like I would have said elaborate on the still lifes a bit more, and either focus a lot more on Mary's B plot, or focus way less on it to actually like, no, don't focus less on it. You didn't really have that much focus to begin with. Also, add a lot more dialogue, 'cause there's like 30 lines of dialogue in the entire movie, and I mean that in an exaggerating way. A lot of my other video was exaggerating too, but I probably said nothing happens in that more than a deaf person has ever said huh in their life. Like a person who's slightly deaf so they can barely hear anything going huh. That's that's I've said nothing happens more than that. So yeah, this video is just talking about that since I definitely exaggerated a lot. Um my comments weren't very informed on the movie before my I'm not talking about the video comments, my comments on it, like my points. Um so the spider person who commented, if I pronounced that right, I don't know. There was a one and a bunch of R's. Their comment, I wanted to do this video and try not to go over the same thing twice and actually give better ideas. And Electro underscore was talking about how my main issue is that the movie doesn't seem to explain things and figure it out. So I wanted to go over it and kind of just like talk about what I felt like the movie was, and go over how I feel like it could have been better. Since I really did want to support the movie a lot, I just, in my mind, I really couldn't because I didn't enjoy it. It wasn't really an enjoyable thing for me. Because I just felt like if I went onto 4chan, which I would never do, that site is hell, and I just found the original Backrooms post by some stroke of luck, and then read it out, I would have a similar experience to the movie in my mind, because both of them talk about how you'll like lose your mind or whatever. I'm starting to ramble on and say dumber points now, so I'm just going to close this video. Bye. I just kind of made this on a whim. I'm gonna go make food.